Hi friends, this is Camilla from C_Loves Planning. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Today we are going to do a plan with me using this kit from Scribble Prints Co. It's called Hospital, so hopefully you can tell from like the theme of that, just a trigger warning here. We're going to talk about health things. A hospital is going to be involved, and if those are not good for you right now, I understand. Come back and see us again for another one. Some of the events of this will spill over into the next spread, so it won't be as intense, but it's still going to involve some of that. So maybe see you in a couple if that's where you're at. And if you're sticking around, sorry for the foggy footage. I feel like this is a little blurry. I must have had something on my phone when I was recording the base, which is embarrassing, but it gets better, so sorry if that's looking kind of foggy, kind of cloudy to you. And also, I hope the audio's okay on this. Honestly, I tried to do this voiceover so many times at home, like so many times at home, but my house is just never quiet. So, my husband's got the girls right now, and I left and took my laptop out in my car, so this is where we're trying to get a little bit of quiet to get this done. So hopefully this works out and it doesn't sound too weird. And hopefully just that I hope I can make it through this plan with me, honestly. Like this one, like I've said, I tried to do it so many times. Part of it was the sound and noise issues and chaos of my house. But also just this one's heavy, so I'm hoping it's been long enough ago now that I can get through this without like too much emotion. I'm really gonna do my best, but this was really heavy, so I'll try to do my best. I am intimidated by this, but also I feel like, I don't know, this impacted us for a long time, so I feel like everything else makes more sense with what's going on with us if you know about everything that happened here. So I don't know. And at least the spread turned out really pretty, right? Like I did color blocking with this, which I think is really fun, and the foil bundle is Sparkly Hollow and Lavender Hollow from Scribble Prints Co. I did that because we ended up having to stay overnight in the hospital, so the stars made sense to me, and I just think it's pretty. So at least the spread is gorgeous, even if the times were terrible. So, but off the top too, everybody's okay. So like letting you guys know this one's heavy and intense, but also like reminding myself out loud that we made it through this. Everybody is okay. So if we did it in real life, we can make it through a plan with me, right? But yeah, I guess I'll just like launch into the story because I don't think I'll have time once the day by day gets going. So, I feel like, I don't know why this is so intimidating to say all of this. It's like, it's what happened, so I don't know why it's so hard to say. I don't know. But, so Andrew and Emmy were in just a really horrific car accident, like really bad. They were hit by a driver who was high AF and just hallucinating. They actually T-boned Andrew and Emmy, going almost double the speed limit, and completely totaled our truck. They ricocheted off, and just the impact, like both cars like apparently bounced apart, and they were going through this big intersection, and I think the cops ended up telling us that like 11 cars were involved total. It was like on the news. I mean, this person was terrifying. So they jumped out of their car, like they were so high they didn't realize that they were, I don't know the extent of their injuries, but they had to have had some with how fast they were going. But they like jumped out of the car and like tried to go over, and like they opened this other woman's door and tried to like choke her and like take her car and stuff. Like it was intense. The cops had to chase this person down and like use a taser to like subdue them and take them to jail. Like, I mean, it's nuts. Like, I can't believe that something like this actually happened, let alone happened to my family. Like, just the odds of that. Like, if they had been 10 seconds earlier or 10 seconds later, like, it wouldn't have been their car that was hit. So it's just, I mean, it just blows my mind. But again, everybody's okay. So like, we do, like, as crappy as it is that it happened to them, like, we are so lucky that they're okay. And honestly, like, the cops said to us that driving up to the scene, like, just how bad it was. And the EMTs said this too. The EMTs told me that they were scared driving up to it, like, with just how much chaos there was and how many cars and the speed of it. And the cops had told us, like, point blank, they were like, if you were in a different vehicle, it would have been either ripped in half and you guys would have both been killed instantly, or it would have flipped and you guys would have both been killed. Like, oh God, like I said, I wasn't going to get all emotional, but I mean, just to like think that I could have lost half my family in an instant, like in just that instant. And again, like, they could have been 10 seconds later, 10 seconds earlier. Like, I'm like shaking, but everybody's okay. So that's what happened. Everybody's okay, and we'll get into day by day. Sorry. Sorry. We're going to make it through this. So this was Thursday, March 27th. First thing I marked, baby Addie was up at 4 a.m., so I was pretty sleepy AF, which I marked with that paper shire bunny. I love that bunny. I think that's so funny. And so, yeah, I had gotten Lily ready, and then Emmy wanted to go drop Lily off at school, so I was at home with Addie. Emmy went with Andrew to go take Lily and like walk her into school and stuff, and then they were on their way back when they got hit. And that phone there, that's from the Doodles. Yeah, I was at home feeding Addie, and Andrew calls me, and I mean, I can just like hear like the emotion and the adrenaline in his voice. He calls and he goes, "Hey, we were just in a really, really awful accident." And so immediately I'm just, what do you mean? What happened? Where are you? Like, all the questions. And he goes, "Hold on, the cops are here. I'll call you right back," and hangs up. So instantly I'm just like panicking. That's that Stick with the Plan Co. little stress panicking meter there. And then, you know, just hurrying and like trying to get Addie into the car seat and everything. And then he calls back and tells me where they're at. So of course we just like immediately are in the car. We're on our way. And just like driving up that road, it was on a really busy street. There's like multiple lanes of traffic, and all of it was just like essentially shut down. I mean, everybody was inching forward as they were trying to redirect traffic away from this busy intersection. So it just like, you know, it took a few minutes to get up to where they were, but I could just see all of the sirens, all of the fire trucks, the ambulances. Like, again, it was like 11 cars. It might have been 10 or 9. I don't know, but it was many cars. And so it was just, you know, on the sirens going and driving up to that, like not knowing the extent of anything. Like, I was just absolutely losing it. Oh, this one sucks. But then that ambulance, I used that from Coffee Monsters Co. I pull up and Emmy was already in the ambulance, and the EMTs were trying to do like a quick initial assessment of her before we took her to the hospital. We were headed to the Children's Hospital, and I used that little trophy to mark that just the EMT was talking to Emmy, and they were so good with her, and he was just telling her like how incredibly brave she was. I mean, I think she was like in a little bit of shock too, but she was just like handling everything so well, and he was telling her like, "You're the bravest kid I've ever met." And that's when he like admitted to me on the side, he's like, "I was even scared driving up to that." And it's like, on the one hand, I appreciated that like realness, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, you're dealing with accidents like all day, every day. Like, I don't want to hear that one was so bad that it scared you. I mean, even though of course it scared me. Then the Paper K Hospital, we went to the emergency room with Andy and Addie, like just all of us were there. Lily was at school, of course. And then I put that question mark, Stick with the Plan Co girl. I just had like my brain was just in shock. It just did not work. She was like asking me Emmy's birth date, one of the nurses, and I told her, but I accidentally said Lily's birth year. Like my brain was just not working. And she leaves, and then, you know, they're still like assessing everybody and getting us logged in and checking heart rates. I mean, like just 1,000 things are going on and trying to keep Addie quiet. And then she comes back and she just points at Emmy and she goes, she's not 16. And I, like, my brain just didn't even, like, it had been a few minutes, so I didn't even know what she was talking about. I'm like, I know she's not 16. She's 5. And, like, and she didn't, like, go, no, her birth year. Like, she just was going, no, she's not 16. And I'm like, I know she's not 16. What are you talking, like, and it took a minute for my brain to even, like, register what she was talking about, because I was just in shock and it wasn't working. And I felt like she could have been a little more sympathetic and understanding about that and like actually explained to me what she was talking about. But anyway, my brain did not work. Then they were like checking Andrew, and of course he's just worried about Emmy, but they had him hooked up to a heart monitor and the monitor was going nuts. Like the alarms were going off on it, and he was saying he had chest pain. And so they were like, we should do an EKG. And he was like, no, like, I'm fine. And I was like, babe, I love you, but the heart monitor says you're not fine and you're having chest pain. And the doctors say you need an EKG and you're doing an EKG. Like, had to tell him, like, let people take care of you. So they had to do an EKG and an x-ray for him. And then I did the McPlans guy, my father-in-law came over, which I was so grateful for, because again, like I was trying to help keep Emmy calm and answer all their questions about Emmy and all their questions about Andrew and all their questions about a car accident that I wasn't there for, and trying to take care of our baby. Addie was 4 months old at that point. I don't even remember at this point. Can't do the math. I'm already behind. But anyway, like it was just chaos. And then I was trying to go between Emmy's room and Andy's room. And so I was really grateful my father-in-law was there to kind of help go back and forth with me. They had to do an IV for Emmy, which she was so brave about, but that's traumatizing for kids who like can't even handle needles. Like needles are so scary as a kid, and to have one that's like thicker put in and it's going to stay there. And like, it was hard. It was really, really hard. Hard on her to do that after she had already just like been through so much. Like this was a really horrific accident, and you know, a little 5-year-old trying to comprehend like this crazy person not only hitting them and what just happened, and then they're trying to like jump out of the car and hurt somebody else, and like, I mean, just all of it. I hate that she saw that. And then the little Bluey, I marked they were distracting her with some Bluey on the iPad, so grateful for Bluey's help there. Then we had to take Emmy for some x-rays and blood work, and it was hard too because in these rooms, you know, she also had to go for CT scans in a second, and obviously Addie couldn't be in those rooms because of like the radiation from them. So I'd have to kind of go in with her and they'd talk her through everything, and I'd have to say, okay, like I'm just going to be right out here because they said we couldn't be in with you. And it just like, oh, would absolutely break my heart trying to like have to leave her in there to go do these scary things, because those are so scary for kids. She was so brave. Oh my God, I can do this. And then Andrew, so they did his EKG and they thought he was stable enough, but they had to send him to another hospital because again, ambulance had taken us to the children's hospital. So he had to go to a regular hospital. My father-in-law went with him, so I was really grateful that he wasn't alone, but just, of course, I want to be there with both of them. I didn't want either of them alone. I wanted to be with both of them. It was just like hard that they couldn't be together. And then it got really scary because Emmy started throwing up a bunch and we didn't know what was causing that. So first, that Papershire Bunny, they sent her for a head CT. And again, it had to be out in the hallway, just like walking with Addie, trying so hard to like keep it together because I don't want to scare Addie and make it worse. And then I don't want Emmy to come out from the room when she's done and see me in pieces and make it more scary for her. So just like trying to be okay so things are more okay for them. And like my mother-in-law was calling, so trying to like talk with her on the phone but keep it together. And then under that flap, after she came out of that CT scan, they gave her a little lion stuffy, which was so sweet. She loved it. And then they did some blood work on her too, and the blood work came back that her liver and pancreas levels were elevated, and they didn't know why. So she had to go for another CT scan. They did an abdominal one with contrast. So again, just back out in the halls doing that. And poor Emmy, like they came and talked with me about like trauma and children going through like a violent event like that and everything, and ways they process it and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they gave me pamphlets and books to read about the trauma and everything. And so this was like a normal expected response, but Emmy started like blaming herself for it. She was like, I made such a bad choice today. And I'm like, what do you mean, sweetheart? And she's like, I shouldn't have gone with them to drop off Lily. Like, I did this. And just like having to talk with her through that of like, you didn't cause this. This wasn't your fault. You didn't make any bad choices. Like, this was on that bad person making this bad choice to drive when they drive the way they did. I mean, like, I can't remember how we phrased it all. And and then stressed AF Munchkin trying to like check on Andrew and get updates on him as he's off in the other hospital. And then Andrew had to go for a CT scan and his blood work. And then after Emmy's CT scan, they said that everything looked intact in her stomach, that it might have just been trauma from the impact, but that she needed to stay overnight for observation. So it was like tentatively good news, but didn't feel out of the woods yet. And then found out that Andrew's CT scan came back. He had a broken sternum, which is so terrible. And there's like nothing they can do for you for that. Like, they don't reset the bones. They can't like put a cast. They can't, I mean, all they can do is say like, sorry, it's pretty much going to hurt to sit or breathe or lie down or laugh or sneeze or cough or anything for like the next few months. So good luck with that. Like, poor guy. I just felt sick for him. And then because we were going to be staying overnight, my older sister came to the hospital to be with Emmy so that I could run home and check on Andrew and Lily and like pack an overnight bag and stuff. So she got to the hospital, and then they moved all of us up to the observation room for Emmy to be overnight. And then that's when I ran home to check on Andrew, check on Lily, grab our hospital grab like a bag of stuff. And sweet little Emmy she asked me to pick up her Jaguar and her Piggy, so grabbed her stuffed animals for her and then went back to the hospital. Then this last column under that extender, my sweet sister was doing some Play-Doh with Emmy when I got back. Like, Emmy was in pretty good spirits, and she even ate a popsicle and like was holding it down, so that was such a good sign. Then that scribbler just marking, I spent the night there with Emmy and Addie, of course. Tired AF, could not sleep, of course, at all. And poor little Emmy had a nightmare. I marked that. She woke up just like panicking. She was like, did you hear that loud bang? She's like, that was the accident sound. She's like, no, I heard it. Like, just reliving it in a nightmare, which is so awful. Then had a headache, of course, not sleeping and everything, and all the crying. I mean, like, in the car there and back. Like, I really did my best not to cry in front of Emmy and make anything more scary for her. And then she got her IV out, which was very happy that she was able to get it out, but it was like almost as traumatic as putting it in. Like, had to be held down again, and like she just didn't want anybody to touch it. And I mean, it was just so awful and so scary for her. But then the trauma team came in and did some more like checks and tests and everything for her, and she got the okay, like just cleared from them, which was a really big deal. And then we were able to coordinate, because it was at a children's hospital. They had like a play place there, so we were able to go, and they had like little cars on a track. Then her and I were able to like race cars up and down that, and then she was getting these dolls and like playing doctor with them, and like talking them through getting an IV placed, and talking them through going into the CT scan machine and all the things. Like, it was just really kind of like heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time, like seeing her do that. And then they also, like, they had a slime center, so she made a really sparkly slime. She was so excited to show Lily. It was just really sweet. And then, so this spread doesn't cover quite when we get home. There's like a couple more things that happen at the hospital still before we go home. So those will be in the spread next time, but just like a couple more tests of her getting cleared to go home. But yeah, so there's all of that. At least the spread is pretty. Everybody's okay. And we made it through. Thank you if you stuck around. I appreciate you hearing me out and bearing with me through the foggy footage and the emotions and the weird audio. I hope this isn't too bad. I hope this worked out okay. But anyway, now this one can be done. I can post the pictures. We can move on. And look at the wiggle. At least it's so pretty, right? It's so pretty. And everybody's okay. So terrible luck that it happened to them, but at the same time, amazing luck that everybody is alive and well and no like lasting impact from this. And I know there are so many parents who have to see their babies go through so much more all the time. So we are lucky. Thank you. Bye.